I remember you saying that you expressed that you didn't want to go a day or two before the trip. Like that's true. And then I was
You said it's too
in
late
my
to back out.
memory, I persuaded you to go. I don't know if we can pull up the old Skype thing. It was so long ago, but it was like, look, if you want to be exceptional, you got to do exceptional things. Remember, you were like, Woody, motivational speeches don't work on me. Do you remember that?
I do remember this,
and
and I,
but
and I remember you didn't motivate me to go.
in my head, at least, I don't know what the text says, but I think Kyle would back me up on this. At the end of that conversation, you were a go, but it was like I don't want to use the word beat, but like we didn't drop it until you told us what we wanted to hear. But I think maybe in your heart, you never really
Um,
decided to do it again.
the first 2 weeks leading up to the survival trip were kind of lopsided because I had 2 versus 1 the entire time there. Because like I would say, look, if we're going to go this far in the woods, let's bring a GPS because I don't want to get lost. You're like, no, 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 we're manning it up, man up. And then I wanted to do it in April, and you guys wanted to. No, I wanted to do it in May, and you guys wanted to do it in April, and because at the time it was a exceptionally cold spring that year.
Wait a minute. What you told us was you didn't want to die before your 28th birthday.
That's exactly what I said.
That's such a horseshit reason.
But the reason I said that was because it was really freaking cold every day that week, and then the forecast was like it's gonna rain. It's like, all right, so it's gonna be like 40 degrees and raining. Man, I don't think I can build a shelter that well.
I hear you. The
And
timing
like
wasn't perfect. I forget why we were so determined on the timing, but like sometimes
I remember, you just wanted to get it going because it was like the first thing we actually agreed to do and set a date for. Like we
that
always planned things, we never did things.
the setting the date was a big deal. Like I think we had set an earlier date where Lozon was going to make it, and then we had to change it, if I remember this right. And that happened on the second trip too. But it was
Because
like we agreed to a date that we could all do, which is aligning the stars. And once we had a date, like you can't just push it a week because you push it a week, all of a sudden Kyle's traveling to the moon or something to blow up a crater. You push it 2 weeks and Woody's going to a Minecraft convention, and you push it 3 weeks and Wings his family events or who knows what. But so once we all found a time period that worked for us, it's not like you could just be like, you know what, let's do it 3 weeks later and expect people to be available 3 weeks later.
but to kind of like defend myself, like you said, you had planned on like trying to take care of his wings going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was dead set on not having that happen. Like I was going into it like, I'm going to be fucking miserable. I'm going to be hungry. I'm going to be, I'm going to have headaches. I'm going to have hypoglycemic attacks, and all I have is these tablets to deal with it. And it's like, oh, this is going to be fucking miserable. But like after seeing the videos, I was like, it didn't look like a miserable time. It looked like a good time.
Until the night,
Well, it's probably not a good time for Kyle.
yeah, that's the thing. I don't the long running joke is that it was the turtle's ghost who got him and made him sick or something. I It might be that he drank the water like we've always said, and it might be, but if I were a betting man, I think he arrived sick. I think he came there and he wasn't at 100%, and by that night he was throwing up a lot. It wasn't like he just threw up once. Like he threw up like, I don't want to exaggerate, 5 times an hour, something like that. Like he was in awful shape.
That's beyond sick. That's dehydrating.
Well, no, we had water. Like
No, no, I'm just saying, like you
oh,
throwing
oh.
up 5 times,
It'll
five
dehydrate
times.
you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't all that productive, but he was. He was. We had to go, and then we wouldn't have done the river crossing if you were there.
Well, that's another thing I forgot completely about. I'm like, why the fuck are these fools want to cross a river?
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
cold as shit.
It was dumb. It was really dumb. And I've
know,
crossed like way bigger, better, cooler rivers than that. Hell, I was doing flips into faster running rivers on the whitewater rafting trip. But something about like those rocks moved when you stepped on them. They were big, so you got big rocks like a cubic foot. that moved when you stepped on them, and they were like perfectly slippery, more so than ice. And I had like a 40-pound pack on. That all combined made me 90 years old. Like I could hardly walk. I was feeble. I had a walking stick. I don't know. Kyle did it much better than me. Might have been his crazy Mandels, but
It was just it was supposed to be a survival trip, and like the idea of survival was going to be there 5 days. So there's 5 days of hunger and exhaustion and things like that, and to cross things that we didn't need to do because we had the luxury of like putting our finger on a map and like we're going to go on this week. This is the week we get lost. Like it's not like our bus fell off the side of a mountain. And it's like, you guys want to go on the cold, rainy week and cross rivers, huh?
we're not the smartest survivalists. We wouldn't have crossed the river if you were there. That's for sure. Yeah,
I could have crossed a river.
I could barely cross that one. Maybe you do better. I don't know, but
I would have gotten in the water.
How
deep is it? I can swim.
It got about thigh deep. You wouldn't have had to swim, that's for sure, but you might have been like I can imagine a scenario where you fall and then you stand up again 10, 12 feet, downriver. And yeah, but anyway, for me, a lot of guys are like, oh, Woody kicked him off because of the OJ thing. No, for me, it was a string of things. Some of it being like, you were often like the first to want to leave the show, or you'd sleep through some shows, or you'd schedule other things so you had to miss the show. It seemed like we were working around your schedule the most. And
that was toward the end.
Yeah.
Like toward the beginning, I was the one that was always on the show. Like I never missed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true in the very beginning.
And like I said, I was getting. I don't know. I wasn't mentally healthy then. Like much better. I was much better. I'm in a much better place mentally right now. I'm in a much better place financially right now, to be honest. Even though I got shit going on right now in my life that kind of fucking sucks.
I won't say anything unless you do.
Right, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay. But anyway, I was gonna put up this video, and I was like, people are gonna act like we're firing shots at each other or something, and that's not what I'm going for.
Why is that always the first place people go?
I don't know.
And to be perfectly honest, I always faulted Lefty for getting me kicked off PKA because Lefty made it the majority.
No, it was unanimous.
Right, but if Lefty was like, "Oh, I want wings on," so Wings and Lefty wants wings on. It'd be 2v2.
I hear you. Yeah, I think you should fault everybody. I don't want to dodge my responsibility, but yeah, I wonder how things would have changed, right? Because PKA has done some good stuff since then, right? People really love this week's show, so I'm all chest out like a peacock right now. But like, I mean, like financially, we've got the sponsors, we've got the Patreon, we've got all that stuff. Chiz came in and he's become a really good business manager for it.
But a terrible stable boy.
People have that wrong too. Like I saw, here's the deal. Chiz was here, I don't know how long, maybe 3 months. And for the first half of it, like we worked really hard on that stable. We were out there and there were some bad weather days, as in like 100-degree melting, instantly exhausted stuff. But then towards the end, he was busy with Woodycraft and the labor just wasn't his cup of tea. And he missed his dad. And that's the truth.
Well, I figured it. Let me ask you, why are you building a stable?
I'm not building a stable. So I bought a house that had a stable with tornado damage. And basically for me, it's just going to be a big shed. Like we've got a couple lawnmowers and a tractor, and I want to keep them under a roof.
I thought like, are you going to like herd cows or shit off?
No. The tractors have implements, and we're going to keep them, under a roof.
So the property you bought had a tractor that came with it? I
bought the tractor, actually. Yeah, no. But I needed a place to keep the tractor, and it's like, you're going to tear down this stable or you're going to fix it, because it's got to be watertight. And it had tornado damage. Like the tornado ripped the roof off of it, and it's like, let's get this thing sorted out. So when we bought the house, they had the place estimated. And they said the stable added $0 to the property, and I was like, yeah, like it's not junk to me because it keeps my stuff dry. So I'm making it right.
Well, we talked about all my problems. Let's talk about another problem that you have.
Oh God, now I'm scared.
Let's talk about the white boy incident.
Oh, if you like, there's a lot of white boy incidents, man. I feel like I should do this with him.
I feel I've seen a little bit of both sides of the track,
Uh-huh.
and like part of him wants to like you. He really does. He wants to be a friend, and like every time we get him to the point where he's like, "Come on, let's get Woody on." He, something happens with pets and animals.
He keeps fucking me over, and I hate that that's the narrative now. So here's the truth. There's so many things, but the pets and animals thing. I uploaded a video of me with a bark collar on, and I put it in pets and animals. Some people might say testing out a dog bark collar is not a pets and animals video, but I thought it was close enough, and it was an advantageous category. And I didn't make the front page that often. Whiteboy made it all the time. He was a bigger channel. He still is. But for me to make the front page was like a big moment. He saw that I was on the front page and then recategorized his video to bump me off. And I felt like that was backstabby. Loyalty's a big thing with me.
It's a real shark move.
So the thing is, like, Whiteboy had been attacked by everybody on the internet. When nobody was Whiteboy's friend, I was. I don't know if you remember, but like Hutch would rip him on Twitter for his damn giveaways. Freddie Wong would rip him on, he made YouTube videos about, the giveaways. Freddie Wong and Fwiz and Hutch would all come on Painkiller already. And when Whiteboy had no friends, I was there as his friend. And then he sees me on the front page and he's like, fuck it, I'm taking this. And it wasn't about the money. Like, I'm doing fine with money. It was about the backstabbing. It was a long time ago. But wait, there's more to the story. So then after that, Whiteboy uploads a video, and it's called The Truth, filled with lies. Everything in it is untrue. He talks about how he didn't recategorize the video. It was always like that. But as I talked to I'm not telling the story out of order, but everything he said about the video was a lie. And I called him on Skype. Now, before I tweeted at him or anything, what happened was I wrote to him on Skype, and he didn't reply. He ignored me because he knew what it was about. It was like, dude, you miscategorized your video. You knocked me off the front page. Like, why would you do this? And he's not replying. And he saw it, and he didn't reply. I know that because he told it to me. I'm not making it up. And then he said, like, I was like, dude, you say that you didn't change the category of the video, but that's impossible. At the time, YouTube had this concept of accolades. And I was like number 2 in, pets and animals, number two. I'm like, if you were in that category all along, how could I have been number 2? And he's like, oh, well, that's a lie. That was never really number 2. I changed it and knocked you off the homepage. And
can I say a couple things here?
let me just wrap up my side of this. Now his video called The Truth, which really was just lies, like hating on me, was on the YouTube homepage. The Truth, like this hate Woody video on the homepage. This is like the first one of its kind, was making him a lot of money. So I asked him to take it down because it's not true. And back to the record. I hate to mention this fucking recording, but basically he's like, I'll take the video down in a couple days when it's done making its money. He fucked me over by making a hate video about me on the homepage. And I told him to take it down, and Machinima told him to take it down. He gave everyone the finger and got all the money he could. But that money was based on lies about me. And I felt like that was a real dick move, especially when you remember that when everyone else was hating on him, I felt like I was his only friend. I had him on my channel for PKA several times promoting and this and that. Nothing ever happened like that in reverse. I was there when everyone was hating on him. That never happened in reverse. Heck, when Thunder Toro uploaded that video of El Presador talking about Colin, Whiteboy still maintains, I thought Thunder was right about that one. I don't even see two sides of that one.
I don't think that last one is.
That's exactly what he said.
I understand he might have said that, but I don't think he still lines up with that.
Oh, I can tell you what the truth is. I asked him to be on Painkiller already because, like I said, at this time, like my whole professional and personal world was just in great distress, right? Because I'm getting attacked from all corners, and like it's happening all over the internet to me. Like everywhere I looked, it felt like this was the topic. It was like the biggest thing on YouTube at the time. El Presador just ripping me. I'm sorry, Thunder Toro ripping me a new one. And I asked Whiteboy to come on Painkiller Already. I picked him because Thunder Toro ripped on Whiteboy when those people came. Remember they robbed his house and desecrated his mother's memorial? And I knew that Whiteboy didn't like Thunder Toro either. And he said to me, I swear to God, this is what Whiteboy said. No, I'm not going to come on Painkiller Already because I think Thunder will come up. And I like that he's picking on you instead of me. I don't want to get in his crosshairs. That's what he told me. Right now he told me that. Now he says, oh, well, I thought Thunder was right in that situation about uploading a video calling my son terrible things. So that's just one. The Minecraft thing, right? Mm-hmm. So the story he tells everyone is that he had nothing to do with that Minecraft server. He was just the face of it. And he backs that up by saying that he wasn't technical. The thing is, for people who don't know, when he started the server, the first thing he did, he started advertising on Woodycraft, trying to take my players. And then he started trying to hire away my staff. This means my lead builder. They make the maps and the buildings and stuff. Mm-hmm. And my lead developer. The thing is, I talked to them, and they said Whiteboy was on the calls. So I met Whiteboy at a Titanfall event, and I was like, dude, you're trying to steal my staff. Like, don't you think that's a little shady? You know, you're posting on my forums. Don't you think that's a little shady? And he's like, oh, I had nothing to do that. And I said, bullshit. I talked to my people. They said you were on the calls. And then in this, like he looks down and he starts like laughing, and he's like, yeah, I guess that's true. And we were if Whiteboy listens to this, we were together on an elevator at the Titanfall event when this conversation happened. You'll probably remember it. And so the whole Whiteboy narrative about him not being the one who tried to like steal my staff and whatnot, that's not true. It really was Whiteboy. So like there's more. I can't even remember.
I understand you're listing all these things. Let me get to my point.
Go on.
What is the statute of limitation to something like this?
See, here's the thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know the answer to answer your question. But for the longest time, it was like, the pattern is this. Whiteboy fucks me over, I let it go. Whiteboy fucks me over, I let it go. And that just happens at every turn. And after a while, you're like, you know what? Maybe I should just keep my distance from this guy. And that's where like... Now, like, what am I going to... Like,
I was just going to make this point.
I've kind of let it go. I just need to make sure that I don't put myself in a position where Whiteboy fucks me over again.
Let me ask you this.
Go on.
You've known me, what, 7, 8 years now?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that this is factual, that I'm a different person today than I was when you met me?
Yes, absolutely.
And it's over an 8-year period. Would you say, this is factual, that 19-year-old Woody and 30-some-year-old Woody are two different people?
Oh, yes.
I feel, because Whiteboy, he's done me wrong too. Like, I remember calling Machinima on him one time because I had a video where I bayoneted a TV, and he put a video, a Call of Duty commentary video up. It was Modern Warfare 3. It was Dome. It was like a 3-minute video, and he put it in comedy. And he was bumping me off the front page. And like, I remember him he called me the cancer of YouTube.
I remember that.
He said I faked my suicidal.
He said you were faking it's not a direct quote, but basically that you were faking emotions in an effort to get subs. It was his accusation.
I recently started a podcast with Whiteboy about a year ago.
Yep.
And the person I'm doing that podcast with is not the person I met back in 2009 that did World at War videos.
But the person I'm talking about is from 2014.
Is it really that long? It can't.
When Bapcraft started?
I don't know the timeline there, because like I felt like you've done Minecraft longer than that.
Since 2013.
I want to say 2012.
13.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The timeline might be there. I don't.
This is the thing that I know, right? So this was 2014 I'm talking about. When did Titanfall drop?
I don't know. I didn't play the game. I knew that shit was gonna flop.
I was excited about it. I didn't know that at all. um, but yeah, so like to me, it's not like, oh, he's a totally different man now. It's, oh, he's been doing this to me since 2010.
Yeah, he's made some questionable choices, but I feel like he has grown substantially as a person. Like what the white boy that was in Black Ops 1, I was cordial with him. I wouldn't consider him a friend. White boy nowadays, he's a more mature, friendly person. And like I feel like there should be another chance given.
See, what's so hard for me? And by the way, what are these chances exactly? Like, your white boy doesn't need me.
I understand he doesn't need you, but like
I just
life isn't about how big you grow or how much you build. It's about the relationships that you intertwine in between the death and life. And like I know you don't need each other, but wouldn't life be better with each other?
It depends. Am I going to get burnt again? Like, that's the thing. I just keep trying to, like, I'll come on the podcast show. I'm trying not to put myself in a position where he can fuck me again.
Well, I gotta. He gave you 4 life sentence bans.
10, I heard. 10, I heard. Yeah. 10. I've even got, like, I was thinking about my, like, he's gonna change his mind. I'm gonna come on the podcast show and I'm gonna dress like a felon. maybe it'll be the 1920 striped shirt, the orange jumpsuit. I don't know.
I haven't talked to him since he put that tweet out there. And like we're supposed to have like Keemstar next week or something like that. Oh, that's gonna be wonderful.
Huh?
Yeah. But you don't like that. I'm not a fan of Keemstar either. I mean, like I was upset when people were like accusing me of hanging out with him.
Oh, when you took the picture with him?
Yeah, it's like I can be cordial with anybody. Like I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, hey, Keemstar." He's like, "You want to take a picture?" No, I'm gonna spit in your face. It's like whatever.
Yeah, see, I'd have an easier time letting Keemstar go if it wasn't for the attacks on my children.
Yeah, but Keemstar's a scumbag. I'll say it to his face. He's a scumbag.
I mean, I remember, and I don't want to be the sort that attacks other people's children, but there was some drama recently where somebody said something negative about Keemstar's daughter, and then someone else chuckled at it, and Keemstar really didn't like that. Like it impacted him in a really negative way. And from my perspective, I'm like, dude, you tweeted out an embarrassing GIF of my son 19 times in a weekend. Like I hope that having lived through his experience, he understands what mine was like.
I would disagree with you there. I don't think Keemstar will ever change his ways. He's showed the signs that he's always been the type of person that will use your back as a stepping stone.
That's funny because when I've sometimes described it as he sees the entire world as a strip mine from which to extract resources, and I'm like, oh yeah, that. If you know him, then that's what you know.
I mean, like I don't know him directly, but every time I've ever dealt with him it's been terrible. It's been a terrible experience.
Yeah, I mean it's no secret that my relationship with Keemstar, I might even have the title. No, I was going to say I might have the most rocky one, and while that was probably true at one point, I feel like Basher may have taken that title from me.
Or that Red and Glory guy. You seen that shit?
No.
He recently called a guy that was streaming like RuneScape out for like being a pedophile.
Oh, I did see that.
It's like, and he got it completely wrong. I understand Keemstar has a staff now. He actually hires people to go out there and do these stories and vet them. But
I'd
like,
be surprised if that was true.
how do you let something like that slip by? This completely different dude. Not caring. That's how you do it.
Yeah, Keemstar did a story on me recently. So here's the story. This is not flattering for me, but there was a guy who plays on Woodycraft, my Minecraft server, and he was really drunk, and but he was like a super fan of mine, so he's yelling like Woody, Woody, and he drinks his own pee on stream, and I think it's hilarious. I've been to wilder parties is the line I keep using. But I don't really think it was pee. One, he drank it generously. And two, it didn't have any foam on the top. And I think it was apple juice. That's my theory. Also, there were like, he just like sort of quickly produced a cup
So
from under the table.
What was the story?
Well, he told the story like guy drinks his own pee on the Woodycraft server. And then he's like, and this part's not confirmed, but I think Woodycraft offered him free in-game items to do it. And it was like, you had to add that. You had to add like the twist that makes me bad. It's not true. I didn't.
Well, he had to create a villain. The story's no fun without a villain.
And I was like, oh, well, I guess we're still doing it then. Like to me, my relationship with Keemstar wasn't better, but it was over. And I'm like, no, he still does the thing where he makes up the facts with me anyway. A lot of I read he did a story on me not like before that, and he just read tweets and stuff, and I was like, yes, this is great. I'm getting the same treatment everyone else gets. If you just read tweets and get stuff accurate, knock yourself out. I'm totally fine with that. It's when he adds the opinions or the this isn't confirmed that makes me the villain, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is not done yet. But there is a afterwards we gave him a suffix. And by the way, I came up with the idea after he did it, so it wasn't like I paid him to do it. But whenever he typed in chat for the next day or two, it said P after his name. But that's the closest thing we did to any reward. And by the way, he didn't do it for that because I thought of it afterwards. It was like, oh my God, we should do this. But anyway,
How did we get on the
I don't know how we got on from Woodycraft, best Minecraft server in the multiverse. Got to pimp that. but yeah, I saw your video.
Keemstar.
What'd you say?
Before we leave Keemstar, I still want to say that I understand that I was part of this decision. I still blame him for ending my walking series. Because
really?
He was the straw that broke the camel's back.
I didn't know that. How so?
I was on day 86 or 87.
Uh-huh.
I was doing really well.
Uh-huh.
And I think day 82-ish, he made a video stating that I was lying about how far I walked. And I got a lot of flack from that. Like a lot of people just, the minions come over and, call you a fat bitch and that you're a liar and you're always going to die fat and shit like that. And that really hurt. And then the next day or so, I started gaining weight. Like whatever it might be, water, retention.
Daily fluctuations of some
daily
sort.
Fluctuations. And that broke me mentally. And I skipped a day. And that day added to 2 days, so I went back on the third day, and I couldn't do it as well as I did it before. It was like something completely changed in my cardio.
Mental, I bet.
Mental, and like it started tiring me more. So I kept going at it, so I started missing days and things like that, and it eventually just fell apart. But like I think in my head understand I do have a hand in this. I'm the one who decided to quit and let it get to me.
Right.
But like I picture him as the author of the influence.
I never knew that.
And like I never gave, and like I'm really upset I failed that time. Like I can't tell you how bad I'm upset because like right now I'm like 450 pounds. I have trouble cooking eggs. It's like every day I think about. Remember when I used to be able to walk 3 miles a day? Where's that Jordy at again? It's like that sucks. We squeezed my weight in here too.
It's like PKA.
Yeah.
If we could just get some dirty videos, we'll watch as a group. We'll be all set.
I get accused of bringing it up a lot, which I did, but like you and Kyle brought it up a lot too. The weight.
The weight thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I never thought it was just you.
Yeah, because I get blamed like whining all the time. Because recently the last podcast show they brought it up, and it's like, oh, man, I don't want to talk about this shit. But I did get a little snippet. I got Jive to agree to eat a ghost pepper if I ride 20 minutes on the bike.
Good. That'll be funny to see. That'll be good for the show.
Yeah. So what else? What was our closing arguments here? Like,
I don't know.
Did we achieve everything?
What I was looking to achieve is, hey world, I'm not mad at wings. I think we did. I think that anyone who watches this whole thing, how long is it? Oh goodness, we're almost at an hour. I think anyone who watches this whole thing is at least going to be informed. And that's all I ever want in all these damn drama situations. I saw someone left a comment on your video. It hurt my feelings. It was like, Woody's a toxic friend. He's never done anything to you. He just used you and discarded you and stuff. And I was like, that's so not fair.
I think I deleted that comment.
Oh, did you? I must have saw it before that.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's not true. Like, I remember more than once, although I can only think of one, when Wings was in a tough spot. Like, I would do the dual comm with him. Like, I would be the only guy I could think of standing next to you when the world was fussing. Oh, heck, another one is that time Whiteboy called you a cancer, right? And there was like El Presador was saying he was going to call the law because I think you inadvertently kind of sort of threatened him. Do you remember that?
Oh, I didn't kind of sort of threaten him.
I thought you did. I thought you'd said like,
I
I'll
did
go up
threaten
there.
him.
Oh, okay. Well, I have it wrong. So you threatened El Presador as if you were going to drive up to him with a firearm. And it got, like, somehow we made it onto, I don't think Keemstar's podcast was called The Bad Kid Show at the time. It might have been. And everyone's fussing at you. White Boy's calling you a cancer, and I'm your only friend. There was other dramas I don't even want to drag up. But, everyone's fussing at you, and I'm your only friend. And I was like, man, that guy's just wrong. Like, it's not fair to say that I'd never made any deposits, it's also completely fair to say you helped me out early on, like that initial boost and, PKA and all that stuff.
I don't think I get credit for something I did. I really grew the subreddit too.
The PKA subreddit?
Yeah.
You
Every
think?
time that subreddit grew substantially, it was because I did something. Because like it was at before the survival trip, it was at like 12,000.
Uh-huh.
And then once I dropped out of the survival trip, it grew to like 20,000 overnight.
Yeah,
And it's been floating around there ever since.
Everybody got to talking about that. Yeah, I'm in that subreddit. I think I'm the only really active host in it. Every so often, Merca does like this. Hey, I did a new podcast. Ask me anything, like thread, where like, I guess he does what all the other celebrities do. Kind of promote a thing and stop by Reddit.
I read it every day, but
do you?
Yeah, I read it every day.
That. I read it every day. I reply every day. I probably do.
I just recently made another
Reddit account.
Yeah.
I'll warn you, it can be a little unhealthy. It's kind of Twitterish. Not everyone on Reddit will be your friend.
Well, I know that I use Reddit extensively now. Like I've been following Bernie Sanders and politics and things like that. So I got all my little tabs done. It's a stop on my morning routine. Let's put it that way. It's not like it's the whole day.
Yeah, I should do less Reddit. I do too much. It's not healthy. But I'm on the PKA subreddit all the time.
Really, what I do is like I do too much Facebook. Like even if I don't reply, I open like my Facebook like 6 different tabs every time I'm bored.
Yeah, Facebook's not attractive to me. I don't know. I've never gotten addicted to that one. But
It's like watching a TV show when you don't live life. So yeah, I never thought you guys were upset at me. I was just tired of people making me out to be like Darth Vader because I donated money to obviously Jesus.
Yeah, I saw like the same subreddit thread we're talking about. For me, this subreddit is RPKA. Like there's tons of them, but that for me is the one. And there was like this general consensus that like all the frustration was about OJ or something. And no, that was just one of the smaller pieces for me, like in my heart. So if there's one takeaway to get from this whole video, I never told OJ I was going to beat him up at PAX. He said he was going to beat me up, and I accepted. Know that.
It's like, oh, you want to beat me up? Sure.
Yeah, I accept your terms. I think that's exactly what I told him. I accept your terms or something like that.
And that's got to really fuck with somebody when you threatening them, and they're like, oh, this is something I can get behind.
yeah, right. Finally, we agree on something. Let's do this. And it's not anymore, but for a time, like the Call of Duty community, fight me at PAX was like a running joke, and everyone had it wrong. But, it is what it is. So anyway, yeah, I made a something I'll never upload, and I kept like making guesses as to what was in your headspace way back when, and I was like, I should call Wings. So here we are, the Wings and Woody show. So
Yeah.
thanks for coming on.
Episode 1.
Episode 1.